Hello everyone and welcome back to WolfQuest 2.7.2, and today we are here with a Starry Skies Pack side story as we are following one of the surviving pups who you guys voted on for their side story in Lost River. And the winner is, dun dun dun, Clover! So Clover will actually lay her down, and just temporarily I'm going to make it day. We're still under the Sorrow of the Skies effect, but I want to make it day so that you guys can see what she properly looks like in the sunlight. She looks extremely different in the darkness. There we go. Well, not much different. She's basically supposed to be a very dark brown wolf, but it comes off as a little bit more black than anything. There you go. You can kind of get a better look. And you can see the birds. This is what the world would be like if we broke the Sorrow of the Skies event, you guys. Oh my gosh, it would be amazing. But yes, this is Clover, and she is the wolf that you guys voted on from the surviving puppies to be able to follow for a side story. The side stories are when we follow surviving pups for one challenge period before going back over to the current heir, which is Kuma and his mate Willow, so that they can have their next litter. The heirs are allowed to have up to 3 litters unless Kuma dies again. He only got to use an ancestor blessing last time because he had no surviving pups. But they're allowed to have up to 3 litters, and so we have quite some time before we're picking Generation 3 heirs. And the side stories are meant to help you guys get to know the wolves a little bit better. So you get to know the surviving pups a little bit better. And it was really interesting to see how you guys voted on Clover. Not Usagi. You didn't vote on Nightwatch. You didn't vote on Sky and her cougar obsession. But you guys voted on Clover, and I really liked the reasoning a lot of you guys picked. Just because we are picking a wolf for following a side story for a little while doesn't mean that they're going to be the heir. So it's kind of fun to use these side stories as opportunities to learn more about the least popular wolves from the previous episodes. So Clover was the quietest and shyest out of all of the wolf pups, and she didn't really, oh geez, I thought that was like a bunny or something, but it was just a leaf. And she didn't really distinguish herself in any particular way from her siblings. But that's actually because Clover is very, very sly. She is probably one of the smartest of all of the wolf pups that was in the very first litter that Kuma and Willow had. You guys did vote for very sly, very curious wolf pups to be sent down. Nightwatch definitely has some of that slyness, being really good at hiding in the shadows. Sky has some of that curiosity, getting herself nearly killed every 2 seconds by cougars. Usagi has a lot of that curiosity by chasing around all of the rabbits that she loves to get lucky rabbit's foots. And now we're going to have a chance to learn about Clover. And Clover is actually extremely intelligent. She's very smart. She's very observant. She may have a lot of that observant nature from Spirit, the companion wolf, who was kind of like her nanny wolf in the den, helping to raise her and her siblings. And we're headed towards elk. That's what we're kind of moving our way towards. All right, let's go over to the back 40 and look for some elk. You can also see she has a flopped down ear on the right side. She's supposed to be dark brown, but it really comes off as almost black when it's night, which might be really good for her for hunting. And she's extremely smart, sly, and observant. And so her special challenge is actually going to be going to each of the 3 wolf packs and successfully defeating one wolf from each of the 3 wolf packs before we are able to go and say that her story is completed. So that is her challenge. And her special ability, because all of her siblings have something special about them, is actually every time she defeats, not plays with, has a happy meeting, but every time she defeats a stranger wolf, she learns a secret about how to hunt. She learns new skills. She learns something that she's able to use to become a stronger wolf. And there's actually a whole list of things that she could potentially learn after defeating a stranger wolf, either by challenging a wolf in their pack territory or challenging a wolf that might show up at a den. And those things include being able to change her stats so that she is faster, or she has more stamina, or she has more speed. So she gets an opportunity to change her stats to be more effective for whatever she's currently doing every time she defeats a stranger wolf. Or she has a random chance of being able to lower the difficulty setting on whatever difficulty she's currently at. Or she has a random chance at an ancestor blessing. So she's got some really interesting traits going on here. This is probably a very powerful wolf, actually, because every single time she defeats a stranger wolf, she has that random chance of getting an ancestor blessing or changing changing her skills or doing something like that. But you guys, the trade-off is that fighting stranger wolves has proven to be 50-50 chance of death pretty much every time we've ever tried to do it. So that's sort of the downside. It's risking her life, but if she can successfully do so... Oh. I hear the elk. But if she can successfully risk her life and defeat the stranger wolves, then she gets to learn some of their secrets. And she gets to learn some of their abilities and grows from that. All right, we're closing in on the elk. About time. All right, oh, there they are. Jeez. All right, and let's see how she does with hunting. She's a little bit faster than her dad, but she's not as strong. And I think that she's actually really going to benefit from being so darkly colored. All right, that elk is not very weak either. And she's definitely a smart one, so she would wait and kind of move. Is that one kind of weak? That one must be kind of weak. I think she would wait and kind of move among the herd. And let's try to come here, you. Are you the weakest? Maybe. Man, she's so much faster than her dad. She's got really good stamina too. All right, but as you can see, she's not nearly as strong as her dad is. All right, and we're gonna get this. And don't worry, because remember, Kuma and Willow are still around. This is just the year after their first litter has grown up and they've started becoming dispersal wolves. Oh, and I'm really excited to see what it's going to be like when Clover takes on the stranger wolves. So imagine it as she like pins them to the ground and she demands they spill their secrets on what the best hunting territory in the area may be, or what the scent markers for different wolf packs may be. And so she's sort of like almost like a spy in a way, where she defeats the wolves and she learns their secrets, and that's how she's able to become stronger. So very, very, very sly. She sort of embodies the slyness that came with the spirit of the wolf pups that you guys voted on, because you did want to pick the sly wolf pups out of all of the little wolf pup spirits that you guys got to send down as the Wolf Quest ancestors. All right, there we go. As the Wolf Quest ancestors in the skies above. So that was you guys. All right, now we've got a little bit of elk to nibble on. She has a very dainty appetite. That really didn't take much. We hardly touched the elk, and we've managed to... we hardly touched that elk, and we've already managed to fill her up. So our challenge is to face each of the wolves, and then also to get to 3,000 experience points. That's actually her dual challenges. So she needs to get to 3,000 experience points, and then we can say she's done with her journey. That's kind of the max amount of time before we'll really just make her go and fight the wolves. And then the flip side of that is that she does have the opportunity to die. There is the risk of her dying by facing those stranger wolves, and if she's not strong enough to defeat them. So we may end up in situations where she's going to have to run away from the stranger wolves, and we're going to have to leave them alone and recover, and then try taking on another weaker wolf. So it may take a little while to complete her challenge, and if she doesn't complete her challenge, or if she dies in the completion of her challenge, then she might fall out of the ranking for being potentially voted as an heir. That is the risk of these side stories, is that the wolves can die if they manage to get killed by a bull elk, or if they manage to get killed by a stranger wolf or a cougar. Then there is the opportunity for them to die because they're not currently the heirs, and they're just in the list for being heirs. And this is the time when they're dispersal wolves, they're kind of out on their own, and that's what this kind of risk is all about, is letting them try to take on the wild on their own. And if they just don't make the cut, then they don't have the opportunity to pass on their genes and carry on the Starry Skies pack legacy. All right, I know we have a whole bunch of wolves up there. I don't know if we want to go fight them just yet, so we might go down. I think I want to get her a little bit more experience first, but then we might pop up. I think that the wolves over here in the bluffs area are some of the weaker ones, so we might go over there and try facing off against them and defeating them. But we also need to get her, so if we do defeat all of the wolves first, we still need to get her to 3,000 experience points just to give her a nice boost. That's kind of the perk of being a side story wolf, is then you get to start with a lot more experience, which will unlock a lot of the special perks like the den and the ability to have a white wolf pup, compared to all of your siblings who get to start at Amethyst Mountain with 0 experience points. If they get voted to be heir, that is. And then also, we may have it, so if we defeat 3 wolves, and she manages to find a mate in the rain, then she would be eligible, just like Quartz was eligible, to break the Sorrow of the Skies effect. And any ancestor blessings that she earns, then we would be able to use those towards the 12 ancestor blessings, we might need to break the sorrow of the skies effect. So whew, there's a lot going on. For now, let's just settle in and let's do a little bit of hunting. Let's see if we can find anything in the creepy streets. Like any rabbits. Too bad she doesn't get perks from rabbits, because I know that there tend to be a ton of rabbits that show up right over here. Ooh, every time that mailbox startles me. All right, Clover. I'm really actually pretty excited to see what it's like for her to take on stranger wolves. Oh, geez. Oh, that's a fox. Oh my gosh. I guess being sly, running into foxes would make a lot of sense for her. I don't think you can ever catch a fox though, but I do think she'd chase it for a minute. Whoa, we just managed to get ourselves up and over like that whole little cliffside. I didn't know you could climb that. Well, that makes everything a little bit easier. There I am being like a good traffic wolf and walking along proper streets and everything. We should just jump over a cliff. That's what wolves do. And oh my goodness, you guys, this place is so creepy at night. I don't think I've ever been in the city at night. Oh, I have goosebumps. It's so creepy. Oh my gosh. But I think it fits Clover perfectly because she's really one to kind of take on all of the resources she can stumble on. Let's see if we can find ourselves. Ooh, we found ourselves the city elk gang, you guys. All right, I see you ladies. Any of you, hey, don't try to pick a fight with me. All right, which one of you? This one. She's super weak, actually. She should be easy food. And then I feel like if we get a couple elk taken down, then we'll be able to go and see if we can take on the Bluffs wolf. All right, watch out, watch out, watch out. Man, they're little like tap dancing hooves. Oh, geez. You can hear the like click, 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 click of their hooves against the asphalt. All right, there you go, Clover. Using the city to your advantage. She's getting a little tired, so we'll let her rest and sneak up on this wolf, or sneak up on the wolf. What? Sneak up on this elk again. Almost back with her stamina. And then another bite or two should be able to... There we go. All right, she almost made it back with her herd. And now in some sort of brutal fashion, we're taking this elk out right in front of all of her family. But I feel like the elks are also kind of ruthless, where they're like, well, she wasn't fast enough. It's survival of the fittest. I feel like elk are not as peaceable as they might seem. All right, let's take out this elk too, just while we're over here. Can we use the city? I love using the city landscape to our advantage. All right, Clover. I kind of love this. I feel like she just threw that elk into that geo shop. And so there's like geodes flying everywhere and crystals everywhere. And the moonlight is glinting off of the crystals as they fly through the air. And the growling and barking of a wolf with the clashing of the glass breaking as the elk starts fighting everything. Clearly I'm writing my own little fan fiction for that scene. But that seems like something that would be quite interesting for Clover to get up to. All right, come on. Let's take her down. There we go. Quite interesting for Clover to get up to here in the city. There we are. Man, the city is so much creepier. Look at her dainty appetite. She acted like she was so hungry and took like 2 nibbles and she's done. Wow, the city is so creepy, you guys. All right, well that took out a lot of elk actually. So look at that already. Oh, only 300 experience. Maybe 3,000 is a little too ambitious. But 3,000 will also be around the point where we go, okay, she's had enough time in Lost River, because we don't want these side stories to last forever. So it's either until she chases away 3 wolves, we hit 3,000 experience points in doing all the other hunting, and we just have to force her through a fight and see if she survives or not. Or, and look at that little house. I wonder if that AC machine still works. Oh, it's so hot here lately. Or, and there's another benefit actually. Ooh, and actually you guys, that gives me an idea. For the adventures and the side stories that come up, we should start doing weather related events. So that you guys might actually, you guys could have the abilities and the powers of the Stormy Skies Wolfpack. And you could end up voting on like what the weather is like for our wolf pack. And if the den ends up flooding, it's your fault. And you guys could end up trying to vote on the weather and control the power of the storms in the skies. That would be really cool. That's another additional side story or like a little adventure that we do when we are raising our litters. And that could maybe cause a pup to be washed away, or it could end up causing like the elk to get stuck and slow down in the mud, so things are a little easier for hunting for a while. I love all the stories that we're able to come up with. All right. And I love that idea of Clover having been fighting the elk in the geode shop with crystals everywhere and the moonlight glinting off of like the broken glass shards, and picking her way out of there. Blood on her muzzle from having a good hunt. Where the heck am I going for wolves? Okay, apparently we should be running into some wolves here soon. So I think Clover wouldn't really waste a lot of time. We're going to see if we're able to confront one of the wolves over here on the bluff. And if we're able to do that, then we'll be one step closer to being able to roll so that Clover can see what kind of secrets she learns from that wolf. And I'm really excited. She's actually becoming rapidly one of my favorite Starry Sky Pack wolves. And I have some very exciting news next time on how we are going to start picking the mates from now on too. So I'll see you guys then. Bye-bye.